welcome to my session. It's an honor and a privilege to close out this track. For you, thank you for attending MageCONF. We love you all. We love our community. Really appreciate that you are part of it. So before we start, I have a lot of slides, quite a few. So I'll try to go through them quite quickly, considering that we only have 30 minutes. Hopefully I'll be just on time. I may be a little bit earlier. But yeah, you should be able to see the recording later on, as Igor mentioned. So don't worry if you miss something if I go too quickly. All right, so first let me introduce myself to everyone who does not know me. My name is Igor. I lead the Magento Marketplace team. Actually, today is exactly 2 years since I started working with Adobe. Started at Magento Community Engineering, and now here I am. Apologies for that terrible mustache on the picture. I really don't know what happened there, but yeah, that's me. All right, let's begin. Here is what happened with the marketplace in 2020. We'll start with sort of a substantial wrap up, and then we'll talk a little bit about the future. All right, first of all, this has been a great year for Marketplace. I think our best. Marketplace has grown in quantity and quality of extensions purchased. We are seeing not just new SKUs, a lot of them, but also a lot of vendors who are increasing the frequency of how they update their extensions, how they submit the new versions to Marketplace. Previously, we would have about 600 to 700 submissions coming in every month. Now we are up to, and even a little bit over, 800 technical submissions a month. We all know that this year the market grew explosively, and we saw a lot of that coming to the marketplace. As a result, you can see that we already significantly outpaced the payouts to developers to date. So this year, the developers in total are projected to make about 75% more than in the previous year. All right. One thing why that number, 800 submissions a month compared to 600 to 700, was important is this. To make Magento Marketplace a place of current, up-to-date, high-quality extensions, we really started to enforce our compatibility and update policies a lot more. For instance, we have a policy that states that extensions must update to be compatible with the latest minor release within 30 days. We just never really enforced that. So what we did, we found the outdated extensions, the abandoned extensions on the marketplace, stuff that just wasn't updated, wasn't maintained well enough. Aligned that cleanup with the Magento 1 end of life, and ended up cleaning out about 2,000 extensions, over 2,000 extensions actually, total. That's why this number of 800 submissions goes against a smaller number of extensions on the marketplace. That's why it's actually a much more important growth. So all of this cleanup stuff really resonated very well with merchants and with agencies. Everybody really loved the fact that we are having less extensions now, but they are of higher quality. They are updated more frequently. So we will keep working on that to make sure that our policies are automated, that they're more transparent, but most importantly, that they are maintained and enforced. Another important thing is the security of the data of the developer, of you, and the developer and the data of the shopper. As a part of Adobe, that kind of security, that kind of service stability is a huge priority to us. After all, the marketplace has the Adobe logo on it and the Adobe brand behind it. So we made sure to spend extra time on really making sure the store itself runs on the latest and greatest Magento, as well as made sure that everything that runs behind the scenes is much more robust. We are constantly being audited by the security and compliance teams at Adobe. So we have all kinds of bot detection, protection enabled. We have all the Fastly security features enabled. We follow all the best and latest security practices. However, very importantly, that beyond that, we also fully audited and completely refactored and stabilized our payout system, performed a full payments audit, caught up on a lot of technical debt in this very sensitive part of our stack. Now our payouts, also known as settlements, are even more reliable. So let's take a peek at the infrastructure side of things a little bit. We have completely rebuilt our automation behind the Marketplace Extension Quality Program, or EQP as we all call it. So, which is a combination of the technical and marketing review workflows that happen before the submissions go live. So what this will give us is result in developers getting test results sooner, more reliably, and for us to having to maintain them much less. This allows us to concentrate on adding more developer capabilities for you, for the developer, so that you can deliver more value to the merchant. A common issue with the marketplace developers, a common point of contention in the submission process, was that it's a little bit too manual, a little bit too long. Well, this year, it's able to be automated. We made it available via API. You can now automate your extension submission process completely. And if you are a partner, you also get the Sandbox dev portal exposed via API as well. So that is for you to integrate as a mock technical submission with your CI/CD as you see fit. You can run tests against your extension against our EQP submission automation nightly or per every release in GitHub or by whatever trigger you prefer. Another place where we made developers' life significantly easier, hopefully, is the lead time, reducing the time that developers need to wait before their submissions go live. We have made a lot of improvements to the marketing review process, which should be much quicker for existing products. But the landmark victory here really was that we were able to make public our versioning tool. So the Semantic versioning checker, SVC for short, is how Magento modules are versioned internally. Core or bundled, doesn't matter. So now you can get SVC from GitHub and use it to change, to gauge the level of changes in your submission. If the tool says that it's a patch level change, then feel free to mark it as patch during your submission, and then your submission will be fast-tracked. What that means in reality is that if this is an existing product and you make no changes to the marketing content, to the images or product description or whatnot, just the release notes, and the SVC tool says that it's a patch submission, then you just mark it as patch. And once it's through automation, which will take a few hours max, it's live on the store automatically. Just make sure you mark that submission as patch in Dev Portal or in your automation when you do that. Magento 2.4.1 brought also SWAT, an incredible new tool really for cloud. It stands for Site-Wide Analysis Tool. That's where developers who support the store can monitor and analyze the instance for best practices, potential issues, as well as monitor and track extension health, check for updates, and generally make the instance maintenance and upgrades simpler. So we integrated SWAT with the marketplace data, so now it supports extensions that have been sourced from marketplace. This adds a huge reason to source your extensions from marketplace and for vendors to list their extensions on marketplace as well, because SWAT will not be able to show information for extensions that are not not on marketplace. And of course, the presentation, the front end, is important. We want to keep improving marketplace as a smoother and sleeker place to shop. So we rebuilt our product page this year. It was all very clunky, very slow. It's much easier to read, much faster now. And beyond that, we sprinkled a little bit of UX sugar across the marketplace as well, mostly concentrating on common causes for confusion for shoppers, right? When sometimes users will try to buy extensions where a later version already exists as a core bundled extension, or sometimes people miss that an extension is actually a connector with a premium service that requires premium subscription. So we try to make those things, the new Adobe partnership levels, that kind of stuff, much more clear, much more transparent for them, which just makes the experience a little bit better. But this is the exciting bit, right? Now we are really to the meat and potatoes. So to make marketplace the default place to shop for extensions, like what we would prefer it to be, right? We are building some research functionality into the product listings. And that is where things get interesting. We're simply starting with a quality report for now, which is going to be a basic representation of the tests that the extensions have passed. The initial versions releasing next week will contain a list of all EQP tests that the extension passed, with links to detailed descriptions of those tests in our dev docs. Those detailed descriptions are also new. We'll talk about that a little later. But this feature will have much more in store. It has a really grand vision behind it. I'll talk about it in a later section. Another cool thing, MFTF test infrastructure has been added to the EQP as well. The entire feature is not fully built yet. We will release UX enhancements that will allow developers to fully submit the tech tests during the developer portal submission, see the test reports in a pretty way, all that kind of stuff, but that will come later. Right now, though, what we want to tell everybody is that you're free to submit your tests in the test MFTF folder. We will run them, and you'll see those results in your dev portal. Don't use secrets. Make sure that your tests are built for MFTF 3, because that's what we are supporting, MFTF 3 and later. Supports for secrets and authentication into third-party services for tests will be added in 2021. Doesn't exist now. MFTF will overall play a more significant role in EQP testing, in the marketplace testing, as time flies. So we want to start learning as early as possible. We want to start working with the developers, with you, as early as possible to see what's the best place for MFTF in this overall experience. Ultimately, adding more quality, creating a better experience for merchants, for our customers who we love. And I mentioned this previously in the quality reports highlights, but we have rewritten and significantly expanded the dev docs for our EQP tests. Where previously developers would struggle to interpret test reports sometimes, or to reproduce the test reports and kind of figure out, debug what happened, now there's already much more information in the documentation to know exactly what we're running and how, most importantly, how to read test results. Another important change here is that we're adding even more transparency by moving all of our dynamic tests from custom images that we used to own and maintain and nobody knew what they were, over to Cloud Docker. Cloud Docker is a Kubernetes-based containerization of all the environments that are needed to emulate a Magento Cloud instance. It supports installation and development workflows, and now it also supports the EQP workflows, and we will use Cloud Docker as containers that we run those tests on. So it will be used to reproduce all those failures that you will get. The first test that we are moving over is the install and varnish test. It simply installs the extension and core Magento from Composer, compiles code and dependencies, sets up Varnish, and then tests that Varnish hits work. All of this and more is coming up in our dev docs. All of these detailed explanations will be published once this pull request that you see on the screen is merged. And we are super committed to further expanding and improving this transparency in 2021. All right, so done with the cool updates for 2020. Now let's talk about the strategy for the future. We're looking to make Magento Marketplace the best place to make money in the Magento sphere, and ambitiously in e-commerce. Secondly, we want to make Marketplace robust, right? We want to enable developers to market their products well, promote their products well, maximize their revenue. And finally, we want the Marketplace to provide buyers, shoppers, merchants, and agencies, right? The value that will pull them back in, that will keep them shopping on the Marketplace that they cannot get anywhere else. So what are we going to do for that? Let's expand on the first part, right? The developer tools, the focus on the developer experience. I mentioned that our main focus is providing Magento Marketplace vendors with fantastic new tools, fantastic new experiences, insights into data from cloud, stuff that they wouldn't otherwise get. Why this new focus on developers? Well, the Magento Marketplace organization in 2020 has been decoupled from the Magento product, and we joined the Adobe Developer Experience organization. So now we are pursuing goals of making the Adobe ecosystem, all of the Adobe products, as open for software vendors and developers as Magento is. Also connecting the Magento ecosystem with all the major Adobe clouds, making Adobe Cloud Technologies developer first. So you, the developer, should expect more, more awesome Adobe developer tools. Not only the enhanced capabilities for the current state of Magento, but bringing together all of this tech that will find its place in commerce and will help the developer, the Magento developer, make more money by reaching more customers across more Adobe products. The simplest examples of this tech are the Project Firefly. It's Adobe's new approach to extensibility that allows to quickly build lightweight integrations, deploy them to Adobe's runtime platform called I/O, which is simply a Lambda function running platform. RPWA Studio, which is now fully extensible, and we expect the extensibility to mature rapidly and unlock lots of opportunities for everyone to build paid themes, paid extensions, and sell them on the marketplace. And also React Spectrum, which really simplifies building unified UIs for Adobe products and experiences in those connectors and integrations that are based on Adobe solutions, including Magento. And you'll see more React Spectrum, I believe, in the Magento world as well. But we haven't forgotten that the marketplace is a place of business, is a place for businessmen, for people to make money. Our goal is to help developers unlock the potential of their solutions and the customer experiences and allow the revenue generation to be optimized. This means providing more expansive tools to promote and sell your extensions, as well as enable to structure your business for the long run instead of a large fee up front to position yourself for recurring revenue. Subscription sales are Adobe's business model, and they are pretty much a de facto standard these days in e-commerce, extensibility for ISVs. And discounts will open doors to many more sales opportunities and promotion opportunities. So we are shooting to enable those features next year as well. Earlier, I mentioned the quality report. I was very giddy about it, still am. So let me tell you a little bit more about the grand vision for it. So this upcoming release is just really a basis for something beautiful, something awesome. As time goes, we will start expanding the level of data that is exposed about extensions and start showing a lot more information, like what environments we specifically installed them on, right, and verified that they were working, or how this particular extension treats public and private APIs, or maybe the extension comes with its own PHP APIs or GraphQL APIs. We won't expose any code, obviously. The IP will be safe. All that know-how will be 100% protected. But what we want is to give vendors a chance to show objectively why the extension they built is built better, as well as allow agencies to pick the ones that are built the best. This tool will also address a very hot topic for merchants, TCO, total cost of ownership, which is very, very closely linked to fragility and upgradability of extensions. So based on certain parameters, like I previously mentioned, maybe this extension comes with really a lot of auto tests, which gives you an indication that it's a higher quality, or maybe it really heavily utilizes public API interfaces and doesn't use any private implementations, which means that it will be less fragile and more upgradable. Based on that kind of stuff that we will display, shoppers will be able to have more educated experiences and more educated expectations of extension fragility and upgradability and things like that. For shoppers who are looking for, let's say, PWA-friendly solution, information about the GraphQL APIs by the extensions will be very useful and will help make that decision. This is something also particularly or potentially huge for marketplace vendors. An important piece of all this, cross Adobe connectivity puzzle is helping marketplace extensions be featured on the Adobe Exchange service. To all of the customers of Adobe across all clouds, they will be exposed. They'll be exposed to all of the integration partners within the ecosystem. This will enable the marketplace vendors to access huge new markets, new business opportunities, new partnerships, and really hopefully evoke new ways of connecting their products to Adobe, to other Adobe products, and build those awesome solutions that tie in multiple Adobe products and multiple Adobe clouds. And finally, this is a penultimate slide, so I'm almost done. We are still 100% committed to making Marketplace a place of the best, most up-to-date, most high-quality extensions. Even if it means us having even a smaller set of extensions on the Marketplace, that's fine. So long as they are top quality, they create a better Magento experience for our merchants. While manual testing remains a significant part of our quality assurance for the observable future, you should really expect more automation rolling out and more chances for the vendors to participate in leveraging that automation. We want to provide more ways for developers to influence the quality of their extensions and the perceived quality of their extensions, how the extension looks on the product listing and what the shoppers see and what the merchants see and how they perceive that quality when they shop. So to help developers fully reproduce our testing conditions and debug EQP test failures, we will move all of the dynamic testing over to Cloud Docker. So Cloud Docker, love it, use it, be friends with it. Additionally, we will keep improving how we're working with developers to motivate everyone to keep extensions up to date, to follow the policies, to further improve the quality of our inventory, to keep it up to date, to keep it current, and to present customers with the best that the Magento ecosystem has to offer. We will move from those manual, huge big bang cleanups to much more transparent, much more communicative policies that will be simply automated. And that's it. I was able to wrap up in 13 minutes. See? Hold on. Hold on. There you go.
Thank you for the presentation. Right. Yeah, please feel free to add your questions to chat if you have any.
We have lots of time for questions, so.
Have info that other tracks already has ended and people are just getting here and to sibling tracks. So.
Rostislav, thank you for your comment. Yep, this summer all of your extensions were removed, most likely because you stopped updating them. Yep, during that cleanup. Nice, yeah. Just make sure you keep your extensions updated and communicate with us. We're available in the community Slack just as much as, if not more, than any other team. Probably, well, definitely less available than the community engineering team, but we try to stay on top of everything. So if you have anything that you want to communicate to us about, just ping us, ping me, ping Pablo Baranov, Mike Weiss, Eugene Shaksavarov. They're all there. Oh, Anton, thank you. Anton's complimenting my my looks. As we all know, Anton's quite beautiful himself. Cool. All right. Well, I don't know if we want to wait for for some more questions, or just let everybody go?
I think if anyone will have questions to you, Igor, to find you in the networking session or somewhere in the chats. So I'd like to thanks to all for joining. That was the last session for today. The presentation, as well as any other presentations, was recorded and will be available on YouTube after the event. And now we have 14 minutes to get back to the main stage for the closing remarks. Thank you all. Thank you, Igor. Have a great day.
Thanks, everybody. I'm going to be counting those YouTube views, so check it out again.